All right, welcome everyone. This is a webinar on energy efficiency in industrial sites, and today is May 19th. Welcome. So I'm going to start by just giving a brief overview of who we are, and then we will introduce our speakers and talk specifically about what you came here today. But first, my name is Jessie Cervi-Ortiz. I'm the Managing Director of the Wisconsin Sustainable Business Council. We are owned and operated by WMEP Manufacturing Solutions. We are a member organization, and our mission is to advance sustainability or sustainable principles through business. So we mostly work with businesses on helping them integrate sustainability. We do this through education, through webinar series like this and our annual conference. We have a tool, the Green Masters program, that helps businesses measure and improve their sustainability outcomes. We really help facilitate connection amongst businesses to help solve sustainability challenges together. So we do offer sort of an array of programs to help businesses. Just so you're all aware, membership is really the primary tool for access. But there's lots of other things we can help businesses with. On the service side, because of our sort of marriage with WMEP, we also offer sustainability services. And really our core competencies and areas of expertise are in water stewardship and greenhouse gas accounting, and in really helping businesses integrate sustainability into their overall business systems. As I said, we're a membership organization, so if you're not currently a member, we invite you to consider joining. There's lots of benefits to membership, and the cost is quite low and accessible for businesses. Just want to share a few upcoming events that we have. Our Sustainable Business Awards are due to open on June 1st. So be on the lookout for those if you're interested in applying. We also have water stewardship training coming up in June, and our June webinar will be on how to build and sort of leverage your environmental management system, or EMS, for sustainability. You can always find all of our resources and events at our website, Wisconsin Sustainability Upcoming Events. And I'm very excited to announce, I think some of you might have heard this, but our 15th annual conference this year is going to be in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. So very excited to announce that we will be at Lambeau. There will be some facility tours on November 15th, followed by an awards reception at Myron Construction in Titletown. And then the conference will be on Wednesday, the 16th at Lambeau. And we just learned that there's actually going to be a home Packer game on Thursday, the 17th. So if you're for it, you can just make a whole week out of hanging out in Green Bay. So yeah, we're really excited about that. All right. So I am going to stop sharing, and I am going to turn it over to Mark Stover with Focus on Energy, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the Focus program. And then we'll hear from our colleagues, our friends at Mercury Marine, about sort of a case study and what they have done and implemented in their facilities. So Mark, if you want to go ahead and share.
All right. Thank you, Jessie. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to be here to be able to talk to you about Focus on Energy today. And I was talking with both Scott and Dustin before the call started. I have special memories about working with Mercury Marine in the past. So it's going to be a great presentation for you today. I wanted to let you know a little bit about Focus on Energy. I'll talk for a few minutes on what the program offers, especially to larger industrial customers. And then Scott will take over from there and on to Dustin. So if you don't have experience with Focus on Energy, and I'm being somebody who's in the program, I assume everybody knows about Focus on Energy. But if you haven't heard about the program, it's actually been around now for a little over 20 years. The Focus on Energy program provides energy efficiency and renewable energy resources to the state. Focus on Energy is a little different than your typical utility program anywhere else in the country, in that this is not offered by just one utility, but rather by a consortium or a collective, a cooperative, if you will, of the utilities across the state. So the investor-owned utilities, the municipal utilities, local ones, and cooperatives around the state decided to get together 21 years ago and pool their resources to be able to provide the energy efficiency and renewable resources to businesses and residences across the state. So even if you are in a very small town somewhere or in a rural setting and your utility is relatively small, you can still get access to all of the resources that the largest customer in the largest city can get from the largest utility in the state. It's a pretty nice deal that way. So the program has been around, as I said, for more than 20 years. It's highly cost effective. That's something that's important, I guess, to us in terms of our ability to deliver good value to customers. I should quickly add that every customer of one of these utilities in the state is actually providing some of the funding to this through your utility bill. So it's a good idea to find out how you can get some of that money back through the incentives that the program offers to improve your energy efficiency at your business, at your plant or your mill. So let's talk about how you do that. I'm going to talk about 4 things here in the minutes that I have before you get to talk to Mercury. Financial support, as we were just talking about, being sort of the #1 issue, but I see technical assistance and the Trade Ally Network as being sort of 2 hands in the same worker here. Technical assistance comes from energy advisors in the within the program, and the Trade Ally Network is made up of contractors and the folks that actually sell and install energy efficient equipment. The program can also help you to promote and recognize these success stories that you have created at your company from the energy efficiency work that you've been doing. So let's dive in. Financial support. Everybody's interested in dollars, right? So financial support comes in sort of a variety of ways, 3 broad categories here. We'll talk in more detail about what incentives are and how those work. But typically, customers are using their incentives for energy efficiency upgrades of existing equipment or swap out of old equipment for renewable energy types of activities that they're engaged in, and for technical assistance that can support and grow their energy management systems or their energy approach. From time to time, the program does offer special programs. For instance, we'll talk about one here in a few minutes about an RFP, a request for proposal that's out there right now. And there are sometimes industry-specific incentives that are offered as well. One of the things we're working on right now is helping large industrial customers in bringing in subject matter experts who can comb through your facility and identify where there might be opportunities that don't appear obvious for your own team, especially because most energy management at a company is kind of a part-time job. There's people who have other things that they're doing other than just energy. So we can bring in specialists that can help with that sometimes. And then other financial support, there is the opportunity for low or no interest loans on a case-by-case kind of basis. There's also collaboration with other funding sources and with state and national grant opportunities. So within the state of Wisconsin, the Public Service Commission oversees what Focus on Energy does because it oversees utilities. And within the Public Service Commission, there's something called the Office of Energy Innovation, OEI. And they typically have grants available to support energy innovations at companies, municipalities, a variety of energy users in the state. So we work with all of that. And if there's one theme I want you to be able to take away from today's presentation, at least with regard to focus on energy, is that there's a whole team of people here that are dedicated to helping individual customers, individual businesses achieve their energy efficiency goals. That's what we're here to do, is to make sure that we're creating energy efficiency. It's the best way to get to a better climate in the future and saves money along the way. So what's not to like? Okay, so financial incentives, getting to the cash here. So financial incentives fall into two broad categories, either prescriptive incentives, sometimes also known as standard incentives, or they come from deemed savings, and custom incentives. The prescriptive incentives are considered deemed savings because engineers who are smarter than me, and there's lots of them, have already figured out what amount of energy is saved by changing an incandescent light bulb out for an LED, or changing an older boiler system out for something that's brand new, or bringing in VFDs to manage your compressed air systems when you didn't have that before. All of those kinds of things have been studied, and we know what the energy savings is going to be. So there's a set of catalogs, there's a set of prescriptive incentives. In fact, I'm going to just pop something open here. Let's see if I can make my computer work the way I want it to. So there's this custom incentive guide that exists out on the Focus on Energy website, focusonenergy.com. Please bookmark it. And the custom incentive guide can give you sort of an overview of how we do the custom incentives. Custom incentives are for those projects that there isn't a deemed savings for. So for instance, technologies are changing all the time. And when new technology becomes available, but the engineers haven't done the studies yet to determine exactly how much energy you're going to save for a one-for-one swap, we can do that for you. The energy advisors and the technical experts within Focus on Energy can create a custom incentive for the thing that you're doing, which is designed to bring, very latest technology to your facility, your mill, or your plant. Custom incentives, you need to work through with your energy advisor, and we'll talk about energy advisors in just a minute. You should always keep your energy advisor in the loop on things that you're doing, because custom incentives also need to be pre-approved. So you need to talk to an energy advisor, set the process up, and get that pre-approved by the program before you launch. That's because it's an incentive program, not a rebate program. Rebates give you money for something you've already done. What we're trying to do with Focus on Energy primarily is urge customers, urge companies to do something different that they wouldn't have done before. I will also show you that there is, get this out of the way, that there is.
Hey, Mark, we're just seeing the PowerPoint, just so you know, we don't see what you're showing us different.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's okay. I know why. I know why. Let me go back to the program here. Well, okay. I'm just going, because I was sharing the PowerPoint rather than this particular screen. That's what's happened here. So I'll stop doing this and get back to the program at hand here. Most of what I was talking about is on the slides that I had anyway. I was just illustrating, with some things that were from the Focus on Energy website. Sorry about that. So here you go, back to the financial incentives. And as you can see, most of the stuff that I was talking about is here anyway. The Focus on Energy website does have quite a bit of information, and I'd encourage you to go out and visit, take a look. So prescriptive incentives and custom incentives. All told, you can get up to $300,000 in incentives per year. Well, per project and $400,000 of incentives per year for things that are going on at your facility. So we encourage you to max that out. If you do have a big project, we can talk to the program and see about getting either an extension or some kind of a special arrangement so that your project can still get done. Because as I said, what we want to do is see energy efficiency in the in the state. So financial incentives also exist, especially for the rural customers in the state. The Public Service Commission has identified a need to bring rural customers more resources. And so if you go to the Focus on Energy website, there's actually a list of by zip code as to who is a rural site. The kinds of things that the program offers for rural-based facilities is an additional 20% on top of the incentive to act as kind of a staffing bonus. And this is capped at $25,000 per customer. So a $125,000 project can get an additional $25,000 in support for what we sometimes call a staffing grant. Because if you're a rural business, you may have, well, every business is constrained with resources these days, but you may be particularly constrained in a rural setting, and this is designed to help offset the cost of the time that somebody needs to put into things. There's a specific program too called RISE, the Rural Industrial Striving for Efficiency. Strained to get that acronym out there. That RISE program is kind of designed to help you to begin to create an energy management system, much like an EMS that Jesse mentioned at the top of the program here. An energy management system helps you to develop a structured approach to how you manage energy, setting goals, identifying projects, and proceeding. So the RISE program also offers some specific support for rural customers as well.
Hey, Mark,
other offerings.
Sorry to interrupt you, but there was a question on if you could define rural or sort of what is considered rural by Focus.
Yeah, so you need to go, and I'm not sure if I'm not sure. I think I'm sharing my screen now. Let's see what happens. Tell me if you can see when I go over to the program here. Can you see the?
Yep.
Okay, good. This is what I wanted to do before. So if you go to the program, and I think I might have to move this out of the way. There's a list of rural zip codes that if I can find my so I can't find it while I'm live on the screen here because the screen is sharing. But if you go to the Focus on Energy website and you go under business and then under rural, you will find a listing. And maybe I can do this with another screen here. Oh, here we go. Let's go up to business. Commercial and industrial. Let's see, rural customers. Here we go. What I'm looking for. So on this site, so Jesse, I can put this into the chat later. On this site, you can see if you're eligible. All customers who you have to be a customer of one of the utilities in the state. Most people are, and then you just type in what your zip code is here, 53011. Congratulations, you're in. So you either can type it in or you can scroll through here and see what your zip code is. And I should say quickly that this isn't necessarily rural, like you got to have cows, across the street from your facility in the farmland. This is what is designated rural by the PSC in terms of the outreach that they're trying to do. So you do need to check and see what's there. So I hope that answers the question. Let's go back to the PowerPoint here. With respect to the rural programs, your energy advisor can also help you to walk through those the processes of getting where you want to go. So other offerings, we do have something we use called retro commissioning, where you are looking at, for instance, taking a look at current facilities and going back to look at how could we recommission some of the equipment that we have in the facility in order to bring it up to speed. Um, there's this competitive request for proposals that's out there right now. The RFP that we have at this point is an unusual one in that you can put together your proposal. You want to get paid more than what the program currently offers in terms of kilowatt hour, an incentive for kilowatt hours saved or therms saved. You can say, no, we're going to need a little bit more than that in order to make this thing cash flow for us. You put that bid in, we evaluate it. And here again, it's helpful to see what this actually looks like. So I'm going to jump into some dangerous territory here. And here's what the proposal looks like. The next round is due in July, so there's plenty of time to put one together. But basically what you're looking to do is convince the program that you've got a cost-effective savings project that will create significant savings, and that you can complete it by the end of 2023. And the cost effectiveness structure looks like this. If your MMBTU, the measure of energy savings that you have, the dollars per that cost is less than or greater than rather $20, you're not going to get as much credit in the scoring as if you would have it be under $6, for instance. So all this is laid out here in terms of the savings potential, the cost effectiveness potential. But what's particularly unique is that when you fill out the form, down here at the bottom, you can check this box. If Focus on Energy rejects my proposal, please send me a counter proposal. That's not the way most requests for proposal work. Most of the time you put the proposal in and you're either accepted or rejected, and that's the end of it. In this case, we'll negotiate with you because we really want to see these energy savings built. So take a look at the RFP. It's also available out on the Focus on Energy site, and Jesse, you and I can talk about getting all this stuff out to your customers here as the program ends. But that is something that's currently out there, and the requests for or RFPs that we put out are done on a periodic basis. So it's not something that's out there all the time. As you can see, this one's the next round is due in the middle of July, and so we're hoping people can take advantage of that. The project assessment incentive is something that we've done for many years. This basically looks at a project that you have already scoped out, something you're interested in doing, but you don't know for sure if it's going to be cost effective, or you don't know for sure if it's going to be something that will result in the kind of savings that you're looking for. So we will be willing to pay 50% of the cost up to a maximum of $15,000. So you could hire somebody to do a study for $30,000 and we'll cover that cost for you, to identify whether that's a project you want to go forward with or not. This particular set of guidelines or particular set of parameters here, the $15,000 max, is good for projects that you can complete by the end of the year. Now, this one's been going for a while, but it's getting close to that point in time where you've got to get the project initiated so that you can complete it. So you got to get the assessment done, get the project completed, and move it forward. Renewable energy, we've talked about this a little bit in the past. Renewable energy at Focus used to be through a program called RECIP. Now everything is pretty much right through the heart of the program. So there are prescriptives and there are custom incentives that can be built for doing solar voltaic systems, photovoltaic systems, solar arrays. You can look at non-solar photovoltaic kinds of systems that you use to drive biogas or biomass, for instance. And there actually is a feasibility study that's available as well out there right now, again, up to $15,000 to study the implementation of biogas or biomass systems. And this is particularly useful if you've got a wastewater stream that contains microbes, if you're a food processing system, or maybe you're an ethanol system. Those are particularly valuable there. Just quickly, additional financial resources. We've already talked a little bit about this. We oftentimes do collaborate with the OEI grant that comes from the PSC and piggyback. You can actually get a big project going that is partially funded by the OEI and is also partially funded by Focus on Energy, because we're all kind of the same program anyway. I do want to talk importantly about the EAs and the TAs, the energy advisors and the technical or the trade allies that support your businesses. Energy advisors are your first point of contact. And if you're not sure how to find your energy advisor, if you don't know who your energy advisor is, just send an email to business@focusonenergy.com and they can help guide you to that. If you want, you can send me an email or drop me a line too. I'd be happy to help you with that. The energy advisors are particularly valuable for providing technical assistance. The technical assistance that Focus on Energy offers to its customers is free of charge. You can't beat it. And these people are all experienced energy engineers. Many of them have worked in industry. Many of them have been sitting in your seat. And so they know what it is and what it takes to get things done at a manufacturing facility. So keep your energy advisor informed. One of the things that we like to see happen is to have a monthly meeting with your energy advisor, maybe with your energy team, and the energy advisor comes in and you talk about current projects, where you want to go, what additional help you need, just coordinating all that. Side by side with the EAs are the trade allies. Now, there is a group of contractors and providers of services and systems to manufacturing companies that are registered trade allies with the program, but you're under no obligation to have it be a registered trade ally working on your program. This can be if you've got a contractor that you've worked with for many years, they know the inside of your plant inside and out, and you want to work with them to develop a project, that's fine. Even if they're not a trade ally, they're still your ally in terms of getting things done. And our energy advisors can work with you and your contractor to help wander through the maze of things that the paperwork that needs to be done. The nice thing about working with a registered trade ally is they know the program and they can offer advice as well as to how to navigate your way through the program. The trade allies oftentimes can actually provide you with a direct rebate on the invoice, then they get paid from Focus on Energy, or they might just charge you the regular rate and you get your incentive from Focus on Energy. Either way works. But the trade allies also bring expertise. And so again, there's a whole team of people out here to provide support. And I'm going to wrap up with this. If you have a particularly successful energy efficiency activity that you've been engaged in, we'd love to hear about it. Especially if it's something that you were working with Focus on Energy on. We write success stories, we post those, we provide social media. So if that kind of exposure is helpful to you, we can certainly do that. We can help support a big check kind of presentation at your location as well, where we're standing there with a check that takes 3 or 4 people to hold up. Finally, I will say, Focus on Energy offers something called an Excellence in Energy Efficiency Award, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 of those are offered across the program, commercial, industrial, state and local government. Every time I've been involved with a customer of mine that has won this award, it's a really big deal. Mercury Marine's won this award, and they can tell you a little bit about it. But it's a really nice thing to be able to present to the employees at your company to show them how much your company is dedicated to and supportive of the idea of energy efficiency. So talk to your EA. Those things come out once a year. They're currently being delivered right now. So next year in March, there will be a new round. And Jesse, that wraps me up.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mark. I was dropping links in the chat. So, we can also follow up with an email if there's any additional information that anyone needs. Please feel free. I know Mark's contact's there, and most of you should have mine. So next, we're going to hand it over to Scott Laux, who's with Mercury Marine, and he's going to share a little bit about sustainability at Mercury, and then they're going to, I think we'll hand it over to Dustin, who will talk specifically about how they've worked with Focus on Energy for some incentives and projects at their facilities.
Perfect. Jesse, just want to make sure you can see and hear.
I can see you, I can hear, I cannot see your PowerPoint yet.
Okay, let's see what's going on here. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. It's a double, so when you hit share screen, you pick the one you want, and then you have to hit the blue share button again.
Success?
Yep, success.
Okay, it's a miracle. Thank you, Jesse, and thank you.
Just go ahead and hit this slideshow. Oh, now we see your next slide. So you might have to go up into the display settings.
Oh, thank you. And it says swap presenter view and slideshow or duplicate slideshow.
I'm not sure. You might have to do trial and error there. Try this swap presenter here first.
That sounds great.
There you go.
Great. I'm sorry for the clumsy launch here. So greetings, everyone. Happy to be here. My name is Scott Laux. I lead sustainability activity here at Mercury Marine. I'm here with my colleague, Dustin Hull, who is a facilities project engineer. He's going to dive into the details on energy efficiency that we've done here at Mercury Marine. I will say we are proud supporters of the Wisconsin Sustainable Business Council, Green Masters, and Focus on Energy. So I'm happy to be here. Beginning with Mercury Marine, we have a long history as a leader in marine propulsion. We're proud of that. But with that comes a commitment to not just our fiscal responsibility, but also recognizing that we need to be socially, environmentally, and ethically responsible as well. With that, just over 10, 12 years ago, we put sustainability into its own lane, and we've defined it as a core value for Mercury Marine. And we also have an umbrella for sustainability that is defined by key 4 pillars. They are energy, environment, product, and people. With each of these, we expect that we're going to be driving improvement here at Mercury Marine, but not just with Mercury Marine, with where products are used out in the field and with our communities that we're in. So we want to drive more sustainable processes. We want to make sure we're minimizing our environmental footprint, but also making a positive impact with our employees and with the communities where we have operations. And that, by the way, that is globally where we have operations around the globe. So the fifth unstated pillar that we have is leadership. And we know that sustainability begins with that leadership. We know that we want to use this to drive actions with leadership that will be proactive, that will be leading by example, and that we will be proactive and responsible and protective of the environment. Our products will be responsible, and that we're manufacturing responsibly as well. Our goals that we've got ambitious targets for sustainability that we're looking to hit in 2025 and 2030. Each of these targets here then will go toward reducing our energy consumption, improving our renewable sources that we have for renewable energy sources, reducing our water consumption, our waste, recycling more, making sure that our products then, we have innovative products that are advancing with reduced emissions, better fuel economy, and are quieter and smoother and safer for our customers. And then the people part. It's important that we are looking to always try to drive improvement for our employees with a more diverse workplace, and making sure that we're reaching out to the communities that where we work and where we live and where we play, and making sure that we're being responsible with that. So we've got some dedicated targets that we have for that. How are we getting there? This is no recipe. It's an easy recipe, really. You need to get out there and engage your organization, enlist everybody that you can as a shareholder and as a stakeholder in what you're doing for sustainability. You want to make sure that you look for these improvement opportunities. This is where working with an energy advisor that Mark talked about. It's important to do that because there are opportunities out there. You need to be looking for them, and they're not always staring you in the face, but sometimes they are. And then you take those best practices and you promote those. You share those with your different divisions and your different locations, making sure that you're integrating them into your business processes where you can, and then continually to look for those wasteful practices so that you can identify improvements for those, track it, communicate it, and make sure that you keep it in place. We've done a number of things within these 4 pillars to leading toward our sustainable future. This is just a list of some of them. Each of these show demonstrated progress that we're doing with them. Certainly with our continued focus on solar energy expansion. We continue to look at manufacturing and efficiency improvements. Dustin will do a deep dive into that. Under the environment, we're working to reduce waste, adding more LED lighting, reducing our water consumption, and really looking to try to continue with our recycling. Our products, we're looking to minimize our impact on the environment, and that's through innovative products, including, I'm proud to say that we're going to have launch 5 new electrified outboard motors by 2023. So happy to say that. And then working closely in the communities with our employees and engagement, getting people involved, volunteering, and helping those that need help out there. So just wanted to give a high level on sustainability here at Mercury Marine. By doing this, then it continues our roadmap that we have for Mercury Marine toward our future state, that we have a continuous global sustainability culture that will be driving that improvement. I like to always say, take the actions of one, make them the actions of many, and making sure that we're continually looking for that improvement and for a better tomorrow. With that, I want to turn it over to Dustin so he can take it from here.
All right, thank you, Scott. Okay, so everybody see the energy efficiency screen?
Looks good.
All right. Oops. So what has Mercury Marine accomplished with Focus on Energy support? So I was a trade ally for about 10 years, and then I joined Mercury about 3 years ago. So I've kind of worked on both sides a little bit. But as a trade ally or directly as a Mercury employee, we have completed 65 projects since 2014, saving an estimated 72 million kilowatt hours and 11.6 million therms. And we always like to, put that into how many homes is that a year. So that's enough to electrically power over 21,000 homes for a year. Mercury has received in that time over $1.5 million in incentives. So in 2021 alone, we did 24 projects with Focus on Energy, and we are. Mark was talking earlier about the rural. We in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, are rural, so we received bonuses on a lot of our custom projects last year. So we did 19 custom projects in 2021 and 6 per script. One of those projects is that picture right here. This is a project that Scott did, and that is our solar array on our Plant 3 distribution center here in Fond du Lac. We do have another solar array going on to a new 580,000 square foot distribution center that's being built in Indianapolis. Of course, that doesn't apply for Focus on Energy, but another great opportunity for solar there. So back to the 2021 projects, that was nearly 1.5 million kilowatt hours and 56,000 therms saved. So again, just last year, enough power for 245 homes. We received $121,000 in incentives last year. So let's talk a little bit about the types of energy projects that we have done at Mercury. Process improvements, heat recovery. So we do heat recovery off of our air compressors. We have a large central air compressor system. We do heat recovery off of some of our other processes. We have a cooling water system in our die-cast facility that does heat recovery and heats incoming air. We have heat recovery in our plant 12, which is our research and development facility, where we have engines running all the time generating heat, and we recover some of that heat and use that to heat incoming makeup air. Furnace systems, process ventilation. So we really have two types of process ventilation for our factories. Number one, talk just a little bit about that. So number one, makeup air. You should have as much makeup air as you need for what is being exhausted. If you have more makeup air than that, you are wasting a lot of heat in the winter. You're heating incoming air that you don't need. If you don't have enough, your building's going to end up negative and you're going to end up with issues. So we really have two types. Number one, we do 100% outside air, variable speed makeup air units, but we design ductwork systems that allow us to blow that cold air up into the hot ceilings in the winter, and we can supply 40 to 45 degree air instead of heating it all the way up to 70 degrees. That is really kind of the meat and potatoes of a lot of what our incentives are. Secondly, and we do those makeup airs on the perimeter of our building. And again, it equals the exhaust going out of the building. And then in the summer, because they're variable speed, we ramp them up to the higher speeds and we ventilate the building to try and keep our employees cool as possible. Additionally, on the inside of the building, we put units in that don't have any burners in. You can save a lot of therms when you have units that don't have any burners in them. Those are variable speed, those have return air. And so we mix the hot air at the ceiling at a lower frequency with the cold outside air. And again, same thing, we blow that air up into the ceiling, try to prevent drafts, but keep our spaces at 65 degrees and use a very small amount of heat for heating makeup air. And are you able to turn down the speed of all the fans and turn off some exhaust fans to save electricity? Compressed air systems. So there's really a couple savings there. Number one, the heat recovery. Any air compressor, in my opinion, should have heat recovery off of it. And get the heat out of the building in the summer, but you want to try and conserve it and save it in the winter. And additionally, we have two 200 horsepower variable speed compressors and are in the process of installing an additional 300. And that allows us with those trim compressors to modulate, not be loading and unloading very large compressors. And we can use the least amount of energy required to generate compressed air. Compressed air is I say all the time, I say compressed air is evil because air compressors are so inefficient, but you got to try and make them as efficient as you can, which leads me into the second lot of incentives that we receive from Focus is for leak detection. Leak detection is an ongoing problem. We tackle leak detection every single year and go around and find all the leaks. Focus will help you out. They'll provide incentives for that. It's a prescriptive program. And then we have our maintenance departments go through and attempt to fix all those. Lighting. We've been doing lots of change out to LED bulbs over the last few years. Not only does it save energy, but our employees like it a lot better. We've been able to light areas better and increase safety and increase employee comfort. Variable frequency drives. We have variable frequency drives on everything, unless it's 120 volt constant volume exhaust fan for a bathroom. We have a variable frequency drive on it, and you should too. And project studies, we've done a few of those with the help of Focus. It's a great, I know Mark talked about it a little bit, but it's a great tool for, hey, we think there's some opportunity to save some energy here, but we're not quite sure what it is, not ready to get quotes. Talk to a trade ally, talk to Focus, and they'll help you pay for up to half of that study. And maybe it comes out that there's not really an opportunity there, but you looked into it. So some successes that we've had. So these are just some of the recent projects. So we, modernizing equipment for aluminum melting, large savings, big incentives, $46,000, 12 months payback. This is one of the ventilation projects I mentioned. Again, $46,000 incentive, 12-month paybacks. This collection, 79,000 therms, $38,000 incentives. These are not small incentive checks that we're receiving. 8-month payback on that. Looking ahead for 2022, we have right now 12 energy efficient projects in the works. The biggest is a reclaim off of a aluminum melting furnace. That's actually could be as much as a $300,000 incentive. And because of that, we actually had, I know Mark mentioned before that the cap is 400,000. We have our potential incentive. We had that bumped up to 550,000. We're anticipating around a $500,000 in incentives that Mercury Marine will receive this year. And of course, that's the business side. What's the dollars? But from an energy standpoint, from a sustainability standpoint, 1.2 million kilowatt hours and 547,000 therms in projects this year. So why should you consider energy efficiency? Well, number one, the savings that goes on for the whole life of whatever equipment you're installing. Number two, we're helping to improve the economy. Scott touched on this a bunch with our different pillars, but improve the quality of life, for your employees, and be doing something good for the environment. So how does Mercury Marine work with Focus? Well, of course, there's prescriptive programs, lightings and things, and then there's lots of custom programs. And so we meet regularly. Richard Feustel is our Focus on Energy advisor. He does a terrific job. We meet with him monthly. Of course, it was over Teams for the last couple years, but get together. This is the projects we have coming up. This is what we need. This is what we're working on. This is our other opportunities. And, get involved with them as soon as you can. Couple things of recognition that Mercury's received. Scott and I think Mark touched on these a little bit, but the North American Diecast Association honored Mercury with its casting of the year last year, which was it's a V12 block for our 600 horsepower Verado that was introduced last year. We won the best international corporate energy management program in the world. And our president was down in New Orleans back, I think it was in October or November, to accept that award by the Association of Energy Engineers, which work hand in hand with Focus. And we had 2020 Excellent in Energy Efficiency Award winner from Focus on Energy. And this is a little bit of a just commentary, but Scott and I have talked often, and Focus on Energy's job really There's money that's collected to try and be applied from everybody's utility bills to try and be applied towards energy efficient projects. Focus job is to give out those incentives, to give out that money. Your job is to receive it. If you're doing energy efficient projects already that you're not getting incentives for, get them. Talk to your advisor, talk to a trade ally, get that credit. In this newer day and age of sustainability, green, there's more and more employees, more and more vendors, more and more suppliers, more and more stock people that are looking at your stock, that are looking at your sustainability programs, looking at your energy efficiency programs. Take credit for the work you're already doing. If you have some ideas, talk to your energy advisor. They're just terrific with helping you work through them. And they'll work really well with, hey, we got this idea for a new HVAC piece of equipment. Okay, well, that's going to be custom. Well, how do we apply? Well, first of all, we got to figure out, well, what is plan A? And then what is plan B that's more energy efficient? And that might be repairing existing equipment, which is, old, decrepit, less than efficient motors, no variable frequency drives, or it might be even installing something new that's not quite as efficient. Here's option A, and then here's option B. And just work with them on those programs with your trade allies and your energy advisors. They do great work. They will help you out. They will get you the recognition you need and save some energy and help save the planet. So I just got 2 slides left here. So number 1, again, back to the prescript. So check with your energy advisor for available incentives. And by the way, these are retroactive, I believe, back a year. So even if you just put a new, conveyor or something in your plant and it has a variable frequency drive on it, Focus on Energy will give you money retroactive for that. You just have to send them the receipt or a bill with that on there. And I believe it's $35 per horsepower right now for the VFD. If you installed some LED lights, Focus on Energy will give you that money back retroactive. So, talk to your energy advisor, implement the project, download and complete the fillable application, email the app in, and get paid. Oops. And go again, contact your energy advisor. They're really good at helping you work through the paperwork and taking care of what you need to get done. And then the custom focus applications. So, discuss the project with the energy advisor and the contractor. Maybe you're going to do an energy study. Maybe you already know what the options are, but operational data, loading, spec sheets, your utility costs, get a quote. They're really good at helping you collect all those things. Receive and sign pre-approval. And again, Mark covered on this because it's custom. This is an incentive, not a rebate. And so they really need you to get this approved. But I can tell you, we've just did some custom applications and they're just slamming them through. We've getting approvals back in very short time periods. And they really want to help. They want to get these done for you. You're going to implement the project. You're going to email the invoices, and then you're going to get paid. And again, contact your energy advisor for any help. That's the end of my slide, Jesse.
Great. That was so informative, Dustin. Thank you so much. Both from the high level and down to the nitty-gritty details. So I had one question. We do have a little time for questions from the audience. So sure. Please, if you have a question, you can either type it in the chat or just come off mute and ask. But the quick question I had was just, how do you establish a relationship with an energy advisor? Just how does that process work?
Well, I can jump in, but both Dustin and Scott should give their perspective as well. For the largest energy users in the state, like Mercury Marine, we've assigned energy advisors to those customers, and they meet with them on a regular basis. So our energy advisors have been around for a while, and in some cases have been around longer than the current incumbent at the in the energy efficiency role at the facility. But every company in the state has an energy advisor assigned to them, and that's why I said earlier on, go to the Focus on Energy website, or send your email to business@Focus on Energy, and they can hook you up if you don't know who your energy advisor is.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, there's absolutely no reason for businesses to not be taking advantage of these incentives in this program. So are there any questions from anyone in the audience? Any specific questions you might have?
Hey, Jesse, this is Scott. I just wanted to give a quick commentary to what Mark said in your question about an energy advisor. And Dustin and I work with our energy advisor on frequently, and they are great to work with. And what they'll help you to do is make it streamlined, make it simplified. They'll come in, and if you've got projects that you're contemplating, they'll help sift through where things can happen and not happen. So we are a proud supporter of our Focus on Energy. So I just want to give that strong pitch to anybody that's looking to do it. Seek it out and get active with it, because it really will help, not just with the financial, as we talked about, as Dustin talked about, but also, as Dustin talked about, it's really the meat and potatoes with energy savings. And so we're happy to be doing that.
Yeah. Well, so and Brent wrote in the chat, just reminding us about the Energy Star program. I'm wondering, do you use any program internally to manage your energy data?
So we have internal programs that we use for managing our energy data. Yeah, that we use. So yeah. Yep.
I have a question. As a large machine shop in Franklin, Wisconsin, our total consumption on an annual basis, kilowatt hours, is roughly 6.7 or 8 kilowatt hours per year, 6.8 million. And I'm kind of new to looking into all of this, and I wonder the demand that we have, which is averaging about 564,000 kilowatt hours a month. Is a facility of our size, how do we begin to, or can a facility of our size be supplied with energy through strictly solar? Or are we talking about just a segment of our energy consumption? I really have no sense of the scale of what's being talked about relative to, say, solar voltaic.
Mark, you want to take that for a second, then I can chime in after you?
Oh, sure. Well, and I was thinking you're the expert because you guys have been doing this. A lot of the customers that we work with use their solar arrays for providing energy for a part of the business or for a part of the process. I'm not sure that we're at the point yet where anybody can be fully running their entire operation fully on renewable energy sources. But I can see that the day is coming when customers will be able to do more of that. This is a good example, though, of exactly what all of us were talking about, in that you've got a business to run. You've got customers you've got to deal with. You've got supply issues. You've got quality things. You got a million things on your plate. You do not have time to be doing the calculations for how much of your facility could be run off of some kind of renewable energy. That's what an energy advisor is for. They can come in, take a look at things. We can bring in specialists that can help you to make those decisions.
I will definitely be reaching out to find out who our energy advisor is. I mean, we've got renewable energy things coming down, from our corporate folks in England, and we're ISO 14001. And so definitely this is right in that lane of exactly what we want to be looking at. And at a minimum, just exploring and finding out how feasible or not feasible it is. And so it sounds like your answer would suggest perhaps that maybe, for example, in our facility, our front office areas and some other things, not necessarily, the power consumption to run all of our CNC machines, might be at least present day, an option.
Yeah, power quality is an issue too. So, if you've got equipment running that's, either running lights out or running with high levels of precision, you don't want to see any, voltage shifts or anything that could create a problem from a quality standpoint or a delivery standpoint. So those kinds of considerations too are things that that an energy engineer can help you with.
I mean, we've definitely got large compressors for all the compressed air we use in the plant. And so I'm intrigued by potential for energy recovery there. Certainly I walk through and walk past machines where I can hear air leaking. I mean,
Yeah.
I know there's opportunities there. It's just part of it is being able to quantify that and be able to, determine what an ROI would be for a certain level of expense. So.
Yes, Scott or Dustin?
Yeah, I was just
I
going to
just
make a
gonna-
quick.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
go ahead,
Scott.
Dustin. Okay.
Okay.
So just and Mark, you answered it correctly. Basically, you want to get your toe into the pond. You start out small, find out where you can offset a certain area. Get your sea legs underneath you. Look for opportunity where you can partner on larger scale with a utility partner. Certainly, there's opportunities for doing purchase power agreements and virtual purchase power agreements, different topic for a different time. But those also are key for getting a project put in where it's additionality. You may not be getting those molecules, but it's definitely helping out communities for renewable and that kind of thing. We are a large energy consumer. We make soup to nuts parts and widgets and everything that goes into outboard engines. And so we are looking where we can to offset. Dustin, please.
I was just gonna say, solar and wind and they're great, right? But my focus is on the energy you're using. How efficiently are you using it? And so focus can help you with the solar and wind, and those are important aspects. But if you're already using twice as much energy and wasting 50% of it because equipment runs when it doesn't have to, or it doesn't have variable frequency drives, or your compressed air system leaks, or you're not recovering heat from it, or you're leaving lights on all the time, or you don't have LED light bulbs. Those, in my opinion, are the much lower hanging fruit than trying to get, a solar array sexy, right? We just put it on our roof. But if you really want to talk about where the savings really are, reducing the carbon, in my opinion, it's a lot of those projects first. That's the lower hanging fruit. And then the photovoltaic and maybe some of the wind and stuff is some of the higher fruit that you could get to.
And we we have done some things where, currently on an ongoing basis where we have any fluorescent lighting fixtures in the facility that are, needing replacement, or replacing with LED, or we're converting using a conversion kit, I'll call it, and converting fixtures over to LED. We replaced all of our exterior parking lot lighting from high intensity lighting to LED. We did that 2 or 3 years ago. And so we've done some things like that. We've got some, emphasis to turn off lighting in hallways and office and conference room areas, so tiny little things like that, but, improvements nonetheless. You had brought up, somebody had brought up, I believe it was the last, it was you who I see on the screen. I think in terms of return on previous retroactive projects. And I think you said there was a year cutoff on that. Is that I guess from We Energy, is that a strict cutoff, or is there opportunity for something that may be 2 or 3 years old, like our exterior parking lot lighting?
Mark, could you answer that? You'd be more
Yeah.
qualified.
So in special cases, in special instances, if there's been something done that we didn't know about, but it's a prescriptive that you went ahead and installed yourself, there can be special grace given for something that was done a while ago. But typically they like to see it within the year, and even better, within the last couple of months. So this is, again, a reason why it's important to talk to your energy advisor and get that advice from them. As you're doing things, make sure that you're lining that up for incentives. One thing that I wanted to just quickly add that's kind of off this particular topic, but the caller or the participant here raised the issue about turning off lights. There's an awful lot of energy savings that can occur with changes in policy or changes in procedure. And Scott talked to this a little bit in his part of the presentation with respect to the 4 pillars and involving employees. You can find in any manufacturing facility processes that are run because you've got somebody there, an operator who's an expert. They've been doing it for 15 years. They know how to make this thing come out on time and with good quality. And they haven't given any consideration to the energy input to it. A good example of this is, actually a good example of this is cleaning in place. We're going to make that water super hot in order to make sure that we've got things really clean, because we don't want to have any issues with food contamination or whatever. But you can oftentimes find that you're using more energy in some processes than is actually required for good output, and is actually required in terms of being able to do the job right. And we can take a look at those kinds of things, and you can find that if you change policies or you change procedures and you document that what you've done there's 2 cents a kilowatt hour or 20 cents a therm available in incentives for any of those kinds of improvements that you make.
Yeah, that's a great example, Mark. Another one is compressed air. They got them. They need 100 psi, but they got it set at 120 or 150.
You bet. Exactly.
Your air compressor's 14% efficient at best, and the efficiency goes down exponentially as you increase the pressure, and the leaks go up exponentially as you increase the pressure. Yep.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Thanks for speaking up and getting your questions answered. I know we went over time here, but I didn't want to interrupt the great question. So thank you so much, Mark, and Focus on Energy for sharing, and for Scott and Dustin for sharing Mercury's story. Even I learned a lot today, so I really appreciate all of your time and expertise here. So thank you all.
It was a pleasure.